Hi, and welcome to the podcast that will help you learn English. Yes, we're sure about that. We love having fun, and we have a ton of fun making these podcasts just for you. My name is Rohit, and I'd like to welcome you to our third episode of English Before Going to Bed. Brought to you by Go Getter English. You know that what we want to do is to go great lengths and do whatever, no matter what, is in our hand to help you learn English once and for all. If there's a mission for us, that's the one, and it's to help you with your English development. We won't just teach you English in the most effective way. No, we'll help you overcome those barriers that you yourself have put up, and we'll also try to help you discover how you can learn English in a way that is fun, amusing, exciting, and overall good for you. Learning anything takes time and effort, and although this podcast might help you, it is only you, your time, and your effort, the ones you will have to invest to improve your English. So, if you'd let us, we'd love to show you how you can maximize your time while learning English. So it's my pleasure to welcome you to another episode of English Before Going to Bed, brought to you by Go Getter English. I'll be your host. My name is Roy, and the first thing I want to remind you of is that this podcast is made with a lot of love. And that's why today I want to share something very special with you. And I want to tell you how I fell in love with one of the most magical, spookiest, and fun nights in the year, and that is Halloween. And after having been engulfed by my own love for festivals and traditions, let me tell you that I chose to talk about Halloween today because every year that goes by, more and more kids and parents as well are lured in by the fun time they have while celebrating Halloween. And that is simply marvelous. I believe that this tradition has been gaining popularity in the last 15 years, at least where I live, Sadly, before we only knew Halloween through American movies, and more than once I had wished to be able to celebrate it. But I was either in a different country where Halloween wasn't very popular, or no one felt like joining me. That's why when I see how kids enjoy this festival, I knew right away that I was right by wanting to celebrate the day. So let me start off by telling you about the first reason that I love Halloween for, and that is its origin and how it has evolved until our days. However, many people think that Halloween is an American tradition, and although it may have become popular in many other countries thanks to American movies, Halloween has been celebrated in some form or the other, even here where I live, in Spain, for many years. Really, for many years, but we'd have to go back a few centuries to actually know what it was like here in Spain. You might already know that Halloween takes place on the last day of October, and there's a perfectly logical reason for that. But before we go into that, let's take a look at the word Halloween and what it means and where it came from. It does have a super interesting origin. Halloween literally means Hallows Eve. You might know this second word, Eve, because it's the one we also use to talk about the day before Christmas, Christmas Eve. And the word Eve comes from the word evening. So we can say that Halloween is the evening before the Hallows, and Hallows are saints or spirits. So the name was eventually shortened to Halloween. Another interesting fact is that the reason we celebrate it on 31st October is because the ancient Gaelic festival of Samhain, which is considered the earliest known root of Halloween, took place on this day. Well, not on the day as we know it today. We need to remember that prior to the Roman Empire, there were only 10 months in the calendar. So you could say that Samhain happened on the last day of the year in the pre-Roman calendar, and the reason for that is even more mysterious. October 31st wasn't just the last day of the year. It was a day that was believed to mark the change of seasons. But most importantly, it was the day many people believed the boundaries between this world and the next became very blurry. And it was believed that the souls from the other world could be contacted from this one. What I mean by people from the other world, I mean dead people. Do you see the resemblance with the similar festivities celebrated here, especially in the Christian community? Do you know the name of this festival that is usually celebrated on November 1st? Suspiciously very close to October 31st. Yes, it's All Saints' Day, or the Day of the Dead. A day in which we honor the loved ones that are gone by taking flowers to their tombstones. Even the Jewish community has a very similar day, which also happens in October. And it's called Yom Kippur, in which people usually pray for the dead. As you can see, the haunted nature of Halloween is more than justified. We honor the dead in almost every culture on that particular day. Well, now going back to the origin of Halloween, during the festival of Samhain, the festival required a lot of rituals and ceremonies that were believed to help connect with spirits, as the Celts were polytheistic. Although there are thousands of proofs that there were a lot of details that were involved, it is widely believed that the Celts celebrated Samhain in costumes, dressed as saints, as a disguise against evil spirits. They enjoyed special feasts and made lanterns by hollowing out pumpkins and other vegetables. As you may have imagined, all of these rituals belonged to a pagan tradition, and as Christianity took over, the most outstanding rituals were dimmed, and the holiday remained a part of our modern pop culture every year. The mystic rituals of earlier times evolved into more light-hearted fun and games, especially thanks to the Irish and Scottish immigrants that ended up in America. They carried their Celt heritage across the Atlantic and made it really famous back in the 16th century. The influence of Christianity took some of the haunted features away from Samhain and connected it more to fortune-telling and safekeeping from evil spirits. So as you can see, the origin of Halloween is more closely related to us living in Spain than you would ever think. Although the origin of Halloween is super interesting, let me go on and tell you the real reasons I love Halloween. Probably the reason I most love Halloween for is that it's the one time of year that, as an adult who doesn't have costume-based jobs, we get to dress up and transform into anything we'd like to be. For kids, this is awesome, but I think that for adults, it can be even more fun, since wearing a costume is it's quite, pretty much frowned upon, unless you're an actor, of course. Every year I get so excited at the possibility of dressing up as something new, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to play around with transforming myself at least once a year. It's a great way to not only try on different hats, literally, but also to play around with your creativity and inner desires. Another great reason I love Halloween so much is because it has always been a time of great celebration and festivity for me. It's like the great kickoff for the rest of the year of fun festivities like Thanksgiving or Christmas or the New Year's Eve. It's all the other ones that come after Halloween. And it's symbolic of finding happiness and joy in something completely silly, like eating candy or dressing up in a costume. The celebratory aspect has less to do with the actual Halloween traditions than it does with serving as a reminder that it's important to appreciate and celebrate the little things in life. Another reason I think Halloween tops my list in terms of holidays is the fact that it inspires generosity in a way that doesn't seem to be as present during the rest of the year. Can you imagine knocking on a random neighbor's door and asking for some candy in mid-June? You or your kids would be seen as a bit crazy. But on Halloween, that's completely acceptable and even expected. The fact that so many people open their doors and generously share treats with kids is such a wonderful aspect of the holiday, and such a great reminder of how simple and beautiful a kind act can be. Not only does Halloween bring people together with a sense of community, but it also encourages generosity as well. In my opinion, one of the greatest things about Halloween is that almost everyone can participate in it. There's an exciting sense of community that comes with dressing up in silly, sexy, scary costumes and coming together for trick-or-treating or a party. The fact that stores pop up each year solely for the purpose of selling Halloween costumes is pretty awesome and really says something about the feeling of community that happens each season. The search for a costume itself is something that brings people, parents and kids, friends, partners, everybody together. Consider the last time you saw so many people, especially kids of all kinds of backgrounds, celebrating something together. It's a rare occurrence, and it's one of the reasons I think I love the holiday so much. So, the mystical origin, the chance that I get to dress up, the generosity of the people, the inclusion of all kids dressed up to celebrate, and the fact that this celebration kicks off the rest of the other important celebrations make me really happy and helps me enjoy life a little bit more. Many of my Spanish friends still claim that celebrating Halloween in Spain is simply another American festivity we have adopted. But I'd like to tell those friends of mine that there's nothing more Spanish than celebrating anything with friends, family, and the kids. Celebrating every little event is just a part of our Spanish culture, and we should do it as often as we can. Well, thanks once again for listening to us, and we hope you have enjoyed my reasons for loving Halloween. And I hope you can have and have enjoyed your Halloween as well. The Go-Getter team say see ya, and don't forget, be a go-getter.